What's good, YouTube? I'm Skylar Brandon and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my second book review YouTube video for the month of February. This month I decided to read The Circle Maker by Mark Batterson. I actually came across this book while in Hobby Lobby with my mom, and what caught my eye was that it was by Mark Batterson. I already have a book by him called Chase the Lion, and I've started to read it multiple times. Although I've yet to finish it, I did get really interested in it. Like, it is a really good book. So whenever I saw that it was by him, I picked it up and started reading the back, and I really got interested in it. And this was before Christmas, and my grandma had been asking me what type of Christmas presents did I want. So I went ahead and told her that I'd like this book. So she got it for me, along with a couple other books, like The Solution to 1,000 Problems, the 40-Day Prayer Challenge, and stuff like that. So this book is about the legend of Hani the Circle Maker. He lived really long time ago, and he was alive during a drought. Like, when his people were in a drought, it had been a couple years. They really needed rain, and so basically he drew a circle in the sand and prayed to God for rain. And at first it was just, God answered his prayer with just a light sprinkle. You know, barely any rain was coming down, and his people were all like just so happy and cheerful, and Hani wasn't satisfied. He was like, not this type of rain, God, you know, like more drastic rain. And then enormous chunks of rain just started coming down from the sky. It actually says, eyewitnesses said no raindrop was smaller than an egg in size. So really heavy rain was coming, and then Hani prayed again for a more steady rain. He says, not for such rain I have prayed, but for rain of your favor, blessing, and graciousness. And then it says that it got to be like a really good rain, I guess. Anyways, so it's kind of based off of Hani and drawing circles around like what you desire in life. Some of the pros that I really liked about this book was that in the beginning, I don't know if you'd see that, but I was highlighting and circling stuff and underlining it, and then you can see towards the end, you know, not as much stuff is highlighted. I guess that's just how books are. I'm not sure. I was still really engaged in the end. You know, it wasn't like I was losing interest. It was just like the information wasn't as touching to me in my life. But what I really like about highlighting and underlining things is that I can turn to any page and find where I highlighted or underlined something and, you know, read it, and it really uplifts you. I don't know how to say that. So although I did like most of what he says, like, he does have a couple good things I really liked that I obviously have highlighted and stuff. For the most part, it wasn't like just a terrific 5-star book. Mainly because what he did was he talked about what God has done for him and in his life, and he constantly talks about how he made his church and how setback after setback, you know, God was preparing him for the best. And like, that's all cool and all, but I'm not really interested in that. You know, like, I want to hear what God can do for me, not necessarily what he did for you, if that makes any sense. So that's what kind of turned me off of the book. I wasn't that interested in his story, and that was basically all he said throughout the story was his story. He did mention other people's stories very occasionally, and even when he did, they couldn't really be related to anything that I have gone through or will be going through, so they still weren't as meaningful, I guess you could say. And also, he repeats himself a lot, like a lot. And, you know, from one perspective, that's sort of good because, you know, I learn by repetition. So if I'm constantly hearing it or seeing it or reading it, you know, it's more likely to stay with me. However, when I'm reading a book, I expect every page to be different. with new information. You know, I don't want you to just keep on page after page after page telling me what you told me 10 pages ago. So, you know, that was good and bad in a way. But yeah, that's really all that I have to say about this book. It does have really good, the first couple of pages, what I have highlighted are like really good things, but for the most part, overall, I would probably rate this book, I hate to say it, but like a 2 out of 5, or maybe a 3, because it wasn't bad, it just wasn't that great. But yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more, and peace and love, peace and love.